Daredevil Born Again is the upcoming Disney Plus show, which serves as the soft reboot for the Netflix Daredevil show, in which you had Charlie Cox, kind of act the role as Matt Murdock in Daredevil, in which he will also be coming back in this show, as he made his first, I guess, MCU debut in She-Hulk Attorney at Law in episode 8. Because since the original Netflix Daredevil show was kind of somewhat connected to the MCU, kind of like MCU adjacent, where they mentioned events, but the movies never really acknowledged them. And this show will kind of serve as pretty much the soft reboot, as you bring in majority of the cast, like Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin, and more as of recently announced, John Bernthal's Punisher was announced to be appearing in the show as well. And it was also announced that it was going to have around 18 episodes for its first season, and it's slated to come out in spring of 2024 on Disney Plus. And just kind of talking about the, I guess, potential, but also the potential backfire that the show could have, because I am excited for the show overall, but there are some variant slight concerns that I might have that I hope they don't delve too deep into. One of the kind of elements that's different from the Netflix show is the fact that it is on Disney Plus. Like, I'm sure there is still a way that they can keep that, I guess, mature tone, but it's been stated by, Charlie Cox himself from other people around the show that it is gonna be different. It's not gonna be like a continuation directly. It's not gonna be like season 4. It is kind of a new thing. It's kind of like serves as that soft reboot that I was talking about earlier. Like, not necessarily like a whole reboot, like they're not recasting everybody, but at the same time, it's not the same writers as the Netflix Daredevil show. And I'm not gonna lie, when they there were first like reports that Daredevil was getting a Disney Plus show, like before it was officially announced in Comic-Con, I actually wasn't really that excited, because in my mind, I'm like, if it's not the same creative team, then I'm gonna be a little worried. I feel like the writing might not be up to par. But with some more recent announcements, the 18 episodes, and obviously the cast returning for the most part, I guess, except for the actors for Karen Page and Foggy Nelson, which is weird to me, because it's like, they're either going to get recast, or B, those characters are not going to appear in the show at all, which is kind of a red flag for me. Doesn't make me too mad or disappointed, but at the same time, it's like, are they even going to incorporate any of Matt Murdock's like law practices? Because it's just going to be weird if it's just his own law firm with him and just like somebody else, or if they are going to incorporate Foggy Nelson or Karen Page, why would you go out of your way to recast? It just doesn't make sense to me. Like, that's just the one part that I don't understand why those actors are not returning. But then that same day we also got like, John Bernthal is coming back as Punisher, so I guess we'll just have to wait and kind of conduct our own opinions on that, because I think they're actually currently, as today's recording, like they are filming, and I guess we can get more announcements on what the kind of story behind it is, because the title, which was like based off like the Frank Miller one, was already somewhat adapted in the Netflix show, so I'm just kind of curious of what they're gonna do here. But because the fact that, I guess, some of the concerns that I might have slightly, because like I said before, I am excited and I do have a more positive outlook on the show, but any potential concerns is the fact that since it is a Disney Plus show, it is more susceptible to the, I guess, typical quote-unquote Marvel formula with a lot of these shows. I think the biggest problem with a lot of these Disney Plus shows is the pacing. The pacing has been really kind of off as of lately. They have like very strong first few episodes, and then the finale kind of feels a bit rushed. Like, it kind of just feels like, it just feels incomplete, and that it's either too long, like the shows overall, they're too long or too short. A lot of them kind of feel like movies that are like stretched out into 6 hours, and it kind of creates this double-edged kind of feeling to it, where there needs to be either more episodes to flesh them out, or there's too many in which they could have like shortened it. Like, it does it like simultaneously. So with the whole 18 episodes thing, I hope that they don't just put 18 episodes for the sake of it. I really hope that they actually believe that that's how long it needs to either perfectly flesh out the story, because even with some of the Netflix shows, like like Luke Cage or whatever, there were moments where it didn't need to be 13, it could have been like 10 or 8, but if they have the writing down pat, I think they'd be really, I guess it'll be fine. And then also the whole mature rating thing, I'm guessing it's obviously not going to be as like hardcore as the Netflix show, which is fine. It doesn't necessarily need to be like M rated or like a really like mature rating, but I just hope it doesn't be like diluted. Like, I hope to God we don't get any like standard MCU humor into this. Like, it's just not needed. You can be lighthearted with Daredevil. He is in the comics, from time to time, depending on the writer, if they're competent or not. But yeah, I just feel like as of lately, the writers aren't really clever with the humor as of lately. She-Hulk. And it's just I just hope they don't delve to it. I mean, the Daredevil episode in She-Hulk was pretty good. Like that was actually my favorite episode in that whole show, which isn't really saying much. But I guess it kind of just showed the different tonal difference that Matt Murdock as a character will have. But I guess on the note of like future potential stories, I'm really curious to see if there's like an overarching kind of MCU medias, like TV shows and movies. You have his appearance in his cameo in Spider-Man No Way Home, and then you also have the Kingpin and the Echo character that showed up in the Hawkeye show that premiered the same year. Then you have Echo getting her own show, which I'm assuming that all connects back to Daredevil. And I would assume the Echo show would come up before then. And it's not really a rumor, but like a lot of fans kind of like fan theory or speculated if like Daredevil could be like make an appearance in Spider-Man 4. Like we don't know what the story for Spider-Man 4 is yet, but if that could be the case, then I guess it'd be a really cool way to like integrate whatever kind of story they're trying to tell with this new iteration of Daredevil. But I hope the show's really good. I am excited for it. Obviously I'm gonna watch it, but there are some slight concerns here and there. But if they kind of delve into like, if they don't learn, I guess, from previous Disney Plus show mistakes that kind of lean too heavily into that, then it could kind of tamper with the show a lot, especially considering the fact that the show can't be anything below good. Like even if it's like or if it's like kind of mediocre, people are gonna be pissed off. Like how do you go from something as great as the Netflix Daredevil show to something that's just kind of like subpar, standard, meh, like we can't have that. The Daredevil's a really cool character, and you can integrate a lot more comic stories. But yeah, I'm excited for the future. Let me know what you think of that one.